services. And therefore, Mount Kenya people, like all other people, must voice their concern, and they also must get their share of the national cake.
Party leader, and while you've put forward a convincing argument as to why Mount Kenya has not, quote-unquote, benefited beyond other regions with having 3 presidents from the region, some would say that the contrary is actually quite true, in that when you look at, for example, the makeup of the civil service from a tribal perspective, 2 or 3 tribes dominate, a majority of those who get employed in the civil service, and that one of those tribes is always those from the Mount Kenya region. Are those not benefits that one could say are accrued from having, 2 or 3 presidents from the same region? Are those not benefits?
Go and look who is getting employed. It's the cronies of those in power. Mm-hmm. When I was in government, when the NAC government came in, we found that the people of the mountain were disadvantaged in security forces and in many other places. And there was a program to address not just the disadvantaged mountain, but also other communities that were disadvantaged. President Kibaki's government, even before the Constitution decreed it, started a program of ensuring that positions occupied, whether in employment or appointment, were proportionate to the population figures. So there was a program to address, and where Mount Kenya was overrepresented, there was also a program to redress. The Constitution then came, the 2010 Constitution, and it's one of the requirements of the Constitution that these matters be addressed. I do not think that the Constitution has been adhered to, especially by the Jubilee government. And if you're telling me that there are areas where people from the mountain and probably people from the Rift Valley, because the president and deputy come from the Rift Valley, are overrepresented, it is their cronies. It's not even distributed evenly. I'm from the mountain, and I don't know any of my relatives or friends or people I know who have gotten positions. I know former members of parliament have gotten positions, but I do not know that those positions are being shared evenly. It was the same during the Kanu time. It's been the same most of the time, that positions are about who knows who. The Constitution has now forbidden it. It is time leaders took the blame and not communities or regions.
Party leader, as you continue to have your meetings, whether as the Mount Kenya Unity Forum, and I've seen you in meetings with other leaders, and we'll talk a bit about that shortly. Last week on the program, we hosted former Mokurune Member of Parliament Kabando Akabando. One of the questions he sent in today is, don't you agree, or do you agree, that strict implementation of the Dongo Land Report, the Kriegler Report, the Kroll Report, and the Constitution of Kenya 2010 would solve most of Kenya's problems? Are those discussions you're having in the forums that you continue to have, party leader?
Let me say this. Kenya has many problems. We can't discuss all of them. But the Dongo Land Report, if I may single it out, is a very important report. Because if we are true to it, we will solve land problems and we will solve perennial conflicts in many areas. All reports that have actually been obtained using public funds ought to be implemented and should not be gathering dust in the shelves. That's what I would say. But our unity talks are about our needs, not the specific reports that are lying there. Some of our needs may be covered by those reports. Others may not. But the Constitution is the one document I know covers comprehensively everybody's need. So the bottom line is, if we were to implement our Constitution faithfully, then you will find everybody in Kenya will be sorted.
Party leader, before we take a break from this topic, some would say this evening that to have leaders having to coerce around a region is a sign that the dream beyond the second liberation has not been achieved. Because the dream was to have national parties, party leader, where people coalesce around ideologies and ideals, not communities, not regions.
NARC Kenya is a national party with representation around the country. We have members in the northern eastern region, in Mandera, in Waihiga, in Garissa. We have membership everywhere. But that does not mean that we cannot call for unity of our region. Unity of our region is unity of Kenya.
And I want to...
But what we must be conscious of, and we have said that from the beginning.
You've said a good point.
But allow me, if I don't complete... If I don't complete this sentence,
okay,
then I'll not have said what I set out to say.
Go ahead then.
That we are very careful in our deliberations to respect the Constitution of Kenya. We are mindful of the needs and rights of others. We are within the law.
I'm saying this because I'm actually putting myself in the shoes of a NARC Kenya member somewhere not from the Mount Kenya region, watching your movements over the last couple of weeks, meeting various leaders to discuss Mount Kenya unity, and them wondering, where do I fit if I'm not from Mount Kenya in these talks? What would you say to that member from another part of the country?
I've talked to my members. I've talked to my chairman in Kisumu. I've talked to my chairman in West Pokot and other places, and they're all cheering us on because they also have their own unity meetings in the region. And they realize that unity of Mount Kenya is a contribution towards the unity of Kenya. Charity begins at home.
Charity begins at home. I do have more questions.
So our unity has a bearing on the unity of the nation.
Okay. I do have a few more questions, but let me pick feedback from Kenyans. Lots of